Hey everybody, this is Marshall from Limited Resources, and we are doing an 8-4. So we have a rare, kind of an interesting one called Faith's Reward. You can get some value out of it, but it's kind of hard to work around, and I don't consider it like super powerful. Flint Hoof Boar is very solid. Bloodhunter Bat's really good. Arsonist, a Tormented Soul, a Duty Bound Dead. I'm not going to first pick an Archaeomancer, but it's playable, I guess. I don't think I'm going to take the Faith's Reward. I just don't think it's like a super high pick. You can do stuff with it, but I just don't think it's like a really high pick. I like the Flint Hoof Boar, but man, I'm not super keen on being on one of these double colored spells, but I guess I'll go for it. I think it's the best card here. Okay. Well, this took an interesting turn. A couple of really good green cards with Prey Upon, and then Roaring Primadox is pretty sweet too if you build around it. But there's also two premium removal spells in this pack, a Murder and a Pacifism. Murder being probably the best removal spell in the format, and Pacifism being right there with it. Neither go particularly well with a Flint Hoof Boar. But then we kind of knew that when we took the Flint Hoof Boar, so we're not going to try to, go too crazy with sticking to it. I mean, Prey Upon goes with it pretty well if you can get into red as well. But I think that I'd rather have a Murder or Pacifism than a Prey Upon. I think I'm going to take the Murder here. Pacifism's a little easier to cast, but I think I'd rather be in black. Okay, not a ton here. The cards that kind of stand out to me, there's an Omniscience, but yeah, that doesn't do anything. There's the cards that stand out are like Elvish Visionary and Guardians. Like both of those cards quite a bit. I guess I'll take the Visionary just to stay with the Boar plan here. We're not giving a whole lot. Yeah, another 2-drop seems good to me. There's a Sun Petal Grove, which have been kind of sweet to splash, but we're not really there. And I'd rather have a Timberpack Wolf than a Duskmantle Prowler, I think. I don't mind Prowler. I think it's fine, but I'd much rather just have a Wolf. All right, now we've got the Nothing pack. There is, however, a Fairy Invaders, which is pretty good. I'm not a big fan of this card. I'd want some specific interactions to make that work. So I'm going to take the Invaders. I just think it's the best card there. All right. Again, not a whole lot going on. A Crimson Muckwader coming this late is a little interesting. This is 6th pick. It is pretty strong, but it doesn't just slot into any deck. And Harbor Bandit's similar. I think I'm going to take the Harbor Bandit, though, because if we end up being green, black, we might be able to splash just like one island for this and this or something, because this card's pretty sweet. All right, well, at first I saw the Primal Clay. There's also a Water Courser, but I'm just going to take this Timberpack Wolf because, as you might imagine, you want as many of those as you can get. Yeah, I'll take the Titanic Growth. The Divination kind of catches my eye a little bit, but I think I'll just take the Growth. Bunch of 2-drop creatures. Still not 100% sure where we're going here. All right, so we did get the Faith's Reward back, which doesn't, again, it's not super shocking, but I'm definitely just going to take the Plummet here. Probably sideboard plan, but I like that card. I like having access to at least one. Sometimes it even makes the main. All right, nothing really here. Probably the best card is this, so I'll just take it, but nothing for us. All right, so there is a Revive, but I'm not a big fan of that, and right now we don't really have anything exciting to go, so I think I'm just going to take the Tome here. It gives us a late game plan against certain decks. Otherwise, it's pretty awful. Like, it's just a wildly inefficient card, but it does add something to your deck, and it does give you the chance to have late game inevitability against decks that are going to go very long, and that you can't beat them very quickly. All right, what do we got? Ooh, a whole bunch of good stuff. All right, so let's just go down the line here. There's a Trading Post. I do love me a Trading Post. I feel like I can make that work for me in pretty significant ways, although currently not in a big way, but you can get value out of it. There's also an acidic slime, which is one of my favorite 2-for-1s just ever. A Cower and Fear, which can just blow out some decks, and then you can usually get some value out of it against other decks. Another Visionary, which would take... for me, I think that, Tormented Soul also is a notable mention, but I think it's between Trading Post, Cower and Fear, and Acidic Slime, and I think I'm just going to take the Slime here. Like, I like Trading Post quite a bit, but this deck doesn't look really well suited to play it. And, and I think Acidic Slime is just one of the best cards, so I'm going to take it. Ooh. Are you going to make our life difficult, are you? Well, I think I'm just going to slam the Sphinx here. I mean, otherwise I'm taking a Duty Bound Dead or another Flint Hoof Boar that isn't doing anything in our deck. And I think I'd rather just have a huge late game bomb. Wow. Sick. This card's really good. It can slow down the game and in a huge way really put the brakes on your opponent's game plan, and I like doing that. It's a little awkward if we do end up being in blue because it does hit your dudes too, but we can decide if we want to activate it or not. Yeah, so if we end up being green-blue, I think that's a fine plan. I'll be sad not to be able to play this Murder, though. What do we got? A Tricks of the Trade, a Spiked Baloth. There's just really not much here for us. Tricks of the Trade looks reasonable in our deck, but not great. And the Baloth is kind of meh. But I think we're just going to take it. I could take a Sign in Blood and kind of forget about this and this. Wouldn't be the worst plan either. But, yeah, you know what? I mean, how many 4-drop creatures do I really need? I guess I have none right now, and the Spiked Baloth just does make this better if we decide to run it. All right, I'll take it. Ooh, decisions. So if we do want to move in on blue, we can pick up a very solid Windrake. We can pick up another Harbor Bandit, but then that means we are splashing black, so we'd be like blue-green splash black, and then the blue would be really easy for that. Not too bad. I mean, if we pick up an Evolving Wilds or a Farseek or something, then... that happens. Oh, thank you very much. And there's also, though, a Primal Hunt Beast, which is pretty sweet. I think I am going to take the Windrake here. I kind of want to cut a little bit of blue and kind of solidify ourselves there a little bit. Now, I'm going to stay along this plan. The card I like the best out of this package is the old Rummaging Goblin here. But I'm going to take the Negate because, we're not going to be in red. Another Plummet or a Ring. Ring doesn't look like it's going to be too good in our deck. A second Plummet might be. I guess we're going to be trying to take most of the creatures that are flying, but anyway, another Negate or a second Titanic Growth. I think I just want the Growth, actually. Man, all these Rummaging Goblins going so late makes me so sad. Pick up an Essence Scatter there. That's a nice little pickup. None of these cards we're really too worried about. They can smelt our JMD to them, I guess. I'll take the Mark just because it's the card that kind of can blow you out the most. There's a Divination I am happy to pick up that late. If I hide these black cards, where does that leave us? 17 playables. And this is pretty sketchy. I mean, it would probably make the deck at this point because we just need bodies, but this isn't working out fantastically, I'll say, but it's not the worst. Just got back from Gen Con, where they had the the World Magic Cup that I was doing coverage for. That was interesting. Never been to Gen Con before. But the World Magic Cup was awesome. Congratulations to Taiwan for winning. If you guys want to check out coverage of that, it was, I think they put it all up on YouTube by now. And on twitch.tv/Magic Pro Tour, I believe, as well. I had a really good time doing coverage with the guys over there. That event was pretty sweet. All right. So we have kind of the beginnings of a deck, and we have one more pack to really kind of solidify this thing. Let's see if we can do so. All right, a Ground Seal is not the card to do that, but a Garrick's Pack Leader definitely goes a long way. We kind of want to fill out this middle section a bit. We want a bunch more 3-drops, but you can usually pick them up, and Garrick's Pack Leader is sweet. This is a pretty stacked pack. Fairy Invaders is awesome. Volcanic Geysers is just really awesome. Switcheroo I'm not a fan of. I think people take that way too high. I've gotten wrecked by it, but I've also just like wrecked people with it, and I've done some nasty stuff with that. Deadly Recluse is definitely the type of card that we're looking for here. There's actually no blue cards in the pack otherwise. So we're going to take the Recluse here. I think we can apply early pressure, or at least clog up the ground with these wolves and the Recluse and stuff. Hold up Essence Scatter and Negate to kind of pick off anything too terrible. Stabilize with spiders and eventually just overpower them with the snakes. At least I like to think that that's the plan. I do wish we had a little bit more inevitability than just a big flyer. This guy doesn't exactly end the game. He kind of serves a different role in the deck. All right, well, this pack has a ton of stuff for us, along with passing another Geyser, which we're going to lose to eventually. So the Pack Leader is the best card here, but we really do need to figure out some earlier curve considerations, and I'm thinking about just going with the Welkin turn. Augur of Bolas does actually get a nod, though. We've got double Titanic Growth, Negate, Essence Scatter, Divination. Fungal Sprouting, we could definitely hit something off of it, but I think I'm going to just keep it simple here and take a Welkin turn with the 2 Titanic Growths, and getting off to a quick start, we can really beat our opponent down, and I think that's a good plan here. We have a nice backup plan as well. Definitely taking the Unsummon, have a couple of Negates, or have a Negate already, and Unsummon is just awesome. Does serious work in these decks, and I really feel like Unsummon is a card that these decks want. It's a plan for this type of deck. Speaking of a plan, there's a Sleep. There's also another Divination, an Arbor Elf, a Naturalize, a Dustel Worm. So I would really love to have this Arbor Elf to try to get us up to this mana, but I'm going to take this Sleep. I think that our deck is attacking enough such that we can use the Sleep to our advantage. I hate playing Sleep in a deck that's slow, but I love playing it in a deck that's fast, and this deck looks like it can apply pressure. There's a Farseek. And I think I'm going to take it because we do have those 2 black cards that one black card we can put in there too. If we pick up some other black card here, we could consider it. Wow, here's the choices again. I think I'm going to still stay aggressive and take the second Welkin turn. The Archaeomancer would go in this deck as well. It can get back Sleep and a bunch of this other stuff that we have, and that's pretty impressive, but I think I'd much rather just stay super aggressive and just take another Welkin turn here. All right, let's show all, because now we actually really can splash if we want. If we pick up an Evolving Wilds and a Farseek. So we don't want these red cards. I don't think we really want a Hamlet back Goliath. So the splash should be for a Harbor Bandit currently, and that's just probably not worth it. So I'm going to take the Water Courser. Water Courser works well with Sleep as well. Very aggressive. Ground Seal just cycles, but Naturalize actually does something, so we'll take Naturalize. This is probably the most annoying. Do we have any enchantments that we really care about? No, we don't. So we don't mind passing into Race. That's fine. Lich is not really playable. I'm going to cut this Cleaver Riot just because I don't want to get randomed out by it. Like, it's not very good. I don't think I'd be super bummed if my opponent played it, but it's like, I don't really want to give him the option either. Take a Mythic. When in doubt, take the Mythic, I suppose. 2 Plummets, probably not going to make it. I think this Pillarfield Ox is probably the best creature there pretty easily. And yeah, probably not going to run it, but I guess there is some situation in which we would run it, so we'll take it. I don't think that we're going to start the JM Tome here. Yeah, I don't think we need to start it. But maybe we side it in against some decks. I feel like our deck can go long if it wants to. All right, I think 1 Negate is good. Definitely the Essence Scatter, Divination, Courser, Drake, Sleep, Invaders. Yeah, our blue ended up being actually quite strong there. And how's our green? A Slime, Baloth. I think that sprouting might make it as well. A couple of Titanic growths, a Farseek. We could just run a mountain. We could just jam a random mountain in there. Our mana's not amazing though. I mean, it's pretty spread out down low. Between our 1, 2s, and 3s, you can see we've got, you know, roughly equal amounts of blue mana symbols and green mana symbols. And a lot of these we do want to cast early. The Wolves, the Visionary, the Recluse, and the Farseek, we all want to cast on turn 2 or whenever we can. And the Essence Gate, Essence Scatter, Negate, we don't want to cast that early, but Welcome Turns and Water Coursers and Windrakes we do. So we could add yet one more and just jam just like a random mountain in the deck. I don't think it kills the deck. I don't know that it's really worth it though. Like, we're pretty stacked up at 2-drop, although we don't have a ton of power. How bad is our pack leader? I mean, we're going to run it just as a 4/4 for 5, but like, do we draw anything? We draw here. Oh yeah, we draw here, so that's pretty good. We draw this, and I think that's it. Our second Timber Pack Wolf as well. So we're not exactly abusing pack leader, but you know, random value is good, and a 4/4 is also good. So I don't think it's a big deal. I still do like playing Farseek here, though. I just feel like we can get up into this fat part of our curve and kind of skip the 3s that we don't really have that much of anyway. Yeah, it seems fine. We're always going to be getting an island with the Farseek, and I think I want to go with 9/8 here. Like that. Yeah, let's run it. I think what we should have here is kind of a tempo-based deck. Because we've got the Unsummon, we've got the cheap counter spells, we've got relatively cheap threats with the 2 Welcome Turns and the 2 Timber Pack Wolves, and then we've got like the pump spells to get in a bunch of damage or just to blow them out in combination with things like Sleep. The Fungal Sprouting in this deck is actually going to be probably pretty defensive. If we can set up a few early beaters that are actually getting in, then the Fungal Sprouting tokens can block for a while. If not, we can Fungal Sprouting like with the Baloth out and then Sleep and hit them for 1 billion. So, all right, this is our deck. I do not know what it'll do, but we will find out shortly.